Steve, and Andy. What's going on this Tuesday?
Yep. Hey, Scott. Hey, Andy, everybody.
Hey, Scott and Steve. Hi, everybody. Welcome aboard.
Yes, indeed. So it's an alternate Tuesday. Welcome to the trade of the week. It's been two weeks since we last spoke. As some of the usuals, howdy, David and David. As we let people file in, just some quick reminders, announcements, the old disclaimer that reminds you guys that we're not financial advisors. We do trade our own accounts and we have a lot of opinions, and we also work for trade ideas, but none of that is tied together. These are our own opinions, not trade ideas, and we are also not financial advisors, so we can't collect a fee for what we tell you. Just a reminder, we've got new users coming all the time into our very rich platform. And it's not something that you just learn immediately, because Trade Ideas, again, is a very rich, feature-rich platform. Just a reminder, it's not a screener. A screener is like FinViz or TrendSpider, where you input what you want, you hit a button, and you get something back. Trade Ideas is a scanner. It is a real-time scanner, watching out for 9,000 symbols at the exact same time and giving us filtered results. So drinking from the fire hose of the market is certainly much easier when you've got trade ideas, but you've got to figure out how you want to fine tune it, to fit your trading style. We give you a lot of nice templates to start with, but eventually you're going to use it for your own style. And so we invite you to help really shorten that learning curve every day by coming in for the daily examples, especially Barry's live trading room, which is free, and it's a pretty good place to learn. Bell to bell for the most part, but then during the midday at 12 Eastern, one of us will come in and relieve Barry and kind of give a different set of eyes and ears and discuss the market and take questions and talk about it. If you're having any kind of issues learning the program, that's the hour you want to really tune in and get the best help from the live stream. And the URL is right there. You basically just put our address in /live. And that will redirect you to the YouTube live stream. Again, at 12 Eastern is a good time to come by and get your questions answered. Chris Varley is usually also there in, hello Dave, in the afternoons, although today he got really tied up and wasn't able to make it. He's there usually from 3:30 to 4:30 Eastern, but not always a guarantee, such as today's example. All right, so moving on, before we get started, I'm going to talk a bit more about our new visual. Again, if you're a new user or a new trader, excuse me, if you're a new trader, you probably find this interesting. If you are an old grizzled trader, I've got some interesting stories I'll save for you here. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So if you want to learn more about it, again, there's a URL at the bottom /, but I'm going to talk some more about it here as we get going. And we've got free eBooks that are out there. The latest one that was done is by our Chief Technical Officer, Dave Mabe, who is a unique individual because not only is he a programmer and developer, he's also been trading the markets for 20 years. So that's a very unique skill set that most people don't have, yet we can brag about that here at Trade Ideas. So if you want his thoughts on things, especially market related and strategy and trading, you can download his version of an ebook at that URL that you see at the bottom of this screen. All right, so that brings us to just some more current topics we'll talk about today. In the typical vein, we always start off with just the reminder that it's a human and machine working together. I spent a moment, talking about the importance of the data fire hose and using trade ideas to fine tune the data that you want. Well, that's the machine part, but once that data comes through, it's a human that can do much better than just a machine. So it's a great symbiotic relationship. Neither of us can do it without each other, and that's just the way it is until things change. All right, so July 26th, it's been a couple of weeks, like I said, a few things to talk about, market recap, a lot going on there. We're going to talk about a new layout that I'm going to use, which involves the racing and some discussions on why. Last two trade of the weeks, interesting, we'll talk about those. And then beyond that, we're just going to kind of riff a little bit. I'm going to go through some of my scanners, my favorite scanners, especially some of the short squeezes that we found lately. Maybe any other scans that Andy likes, but we'll set some trading alerts because we've been doing that the last few weeks, giving out, at the end of the session, giving out that live code. It's always a nice parting gift. And then again, trying to open the floor for anything Q&A trading related. Doesn't necessarily have to be trade ideas platform. How do I? It can be something more trading related. You know, how long did it take you, or what should I do? What's, you know, what should I watch out for as a new trader? Any advice that you might be looking for as a new trader, Andy and I are here to certainly help, because I'll tell you, this market is nothing like it was a year and a half ago, right? It's wiped a lot of new people out because they've never seen the other side of the mountain. So us grizzled dinosaurs here are, you know, here to help. If you have any struggles, or you want some concepts or some answers, hold on to those towards we get towards the end, and we'll talk about that. So that being said, let's minimize that and get right into it. Let's start with the S&P as usual. Okay, so a couple things happened last week since we've spoken, and actually this downtrend was really kind of dominated not only by this channel, nice little freehand action there, pretty good, but also this 50 period and simple moving average. Sorry, this 50 period simple moving average was overtaken by the price and pulled back. In other words, overtaken, pulled back, and now is resting right at support with a lot of moving averages. So there's a lot of constructive foundational things that we can try and build on here and say, hey, this market might be looking for a bounce based on kind of what I'm seeing here. Okay. Also, you know, there's been a lot of negative sentiment out there. When that many people are negative, it's very hard to get the market to continue to go in that direction. The market has a funny way of fooling most of the people most of the time. So I'm feeling a bit constructive. Now, let me walk you through something I did do, and Andy is my witness. Last week, we got a little ahead of ourselves. I'm going to back up here on what the market looks like. Okay, I went home this day. This was whatever, I can't remember, Thursday, I believe. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, yeah, Thursday. Regardless, I saw 3 green movement candles there, really moving nicely above the NASDAQ. Again, same story over here. Notice how it took a pretty good test right there. The Qs backed off and they charged through and they retook that 50 with much more conviction, you know, really than the SPY did. But you know, I've been kind of nailing these inverse ETFs lately, so I figured this was kind of a pretty good move. We're probably going to need a little bit of a blow off, so I did buy some SQQs. I don't know if I tweeted it or not, but I bought it down here on this day. And then today I basically just said, hey, you know, as soon as the NASDAQ pulls back and touches its 10-day moving average, which was right about there, I'm just going to get out of these SQQs, which again is a triple inverse. So when the market goes down, these will go up. So I sold right into that pocket there and had a nice little profitable trade. And I done something, and then I turned around and did something an hour later that I don't think I've done in years. I can't remember the last time I did it. I said, well, if that was my target, you know, on the downside, why not just go ahead and let's go along the Qs. Now, in the back of my mind, yeah, I kind of knew that this is a big week. What do I mean by that? Okay, we've got Apple earnings tomorrow. We've got Microsoft after market today. We had Google after market today. We've got, I believe, Amazon a little bit later. Didn't spell it correctly, but point being is I took a bit of a risk because the NASDAQ was pulling back. And again, I'm talking about being a contrarian. This felt like a safe area after a nice big move where, again, the NASDAQ overtook, but it's pulling back and retesting. So I decided to use this retest as an entry level. So I took home some SQQs on long the market in terms of that in another account. And I'm sorry, TQQ, thank you. I purchased TQQ, which is the inverse. So this will go up 3 times as much as the NASDAQ. But I'm not focused on these moving averages here, guys. Big important point, only focused on the underlying chart and what that's showing right there. So that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like the market was just looking for a reason to dig in here. We got a little bit of aftermarket good news, as you can see by the tech earnings. They will continue this week. I don't know if that'll continue through tomorrow, but for the most part, that's kind of all clear. Anything you want to add to the conversation on this one. The IWM is consolidating there nicely as well. Look at that. That's interesting, Andy.
Yeah, totally. As a matter of fact, I had bought some TZA for a hedge because I was long a few things in this move, and I ended up getting out because it was not pulling back like the other. I got out yesterday for a very small loss. So just because, yeah, IWM is holding up pretty well there, and I didn't like those. Keep seeing those bottoming tails.
That's kind of bullish right there. I got to say that.
Yeah, it is.
Didn't pull back as much as the Nasdaq did.
Nope. But no, I agree with you. I honestly, you're right. There is a lot on the table this week, and I think we have GDP on Thursday, I believe, and that's where they will finally announce if we're in a recession. Of course, it would be 6 months now. We would be in a recession, but anyway.
Are we in a bad news is good news market environment?
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, I know. Honestly, I am thinning out this week, and there's
a lot going on.
I'm going to do some scalping probably, and that's about it.
A lot going on. Dave's right. We got FOMC.
Yep.
Let's see, they started their meeting today, so that's tomorrow. Lovely. Those TQQs, they might be short-lived. We'll see. I don't know how much risk I want to keep on the table. I've got a couple of smaller holdings too that are working, but nonetheless, the market is trying to maybe tip its hand and give us a constructive view. If you really want to get into it, maybe it's the market saying, well, the Fed is just going to have to blink. And this is us now betting that the shorts have had their day. The Fed's going to blink and we're going to go back to easy money again. I don't know. And I joked with Andy today, we laugh sometimes. We sit here and we try to literally make sense of the nonsense. It's hard. So, because it's been a very interesting couple of years here. This not really by the book. All right, let's move on. So there's the AI down here at the bottom, and a lot of people have asked how I use the stock racing. I don't have it on my my layout here, as you can see, my default layout. I do use them in the morning. I watch how the sectors open up, but it's kind of a minimized thing, pop up and take a look and go back. But as I look around, you see Barry's desktop, I see Jamie's desktop, I see maybe Jamie not so much, but I see Chris Farley. And then Michael Noss just literally finally laughingly punched his ego in the nose and said, you know what, I didn't get the races at first, but I get it now. And it's been sharpening up his trading. Now, mind you, this is definitely for short-term trading, day trading, momentum trading, in and out. That's where the action certainly is. I'm more of a swing trader, so I've never really had, a reason to have that up on my screen. Barry, in a meeting today, some of you probably know Real, who's probably one of the staple original OGs in Barry's room. Same thing. It's like Andy and myself. We originally saw these race concepts, and we just thought, well, no thanks. I got my charts and my scans. I really can't see a use for that. But slowly, it's like the hive mind over here has, kind of come to realize this is a good thing. And the funny thing is Real also did the same thing. He went to Barry and he goes, I was wrong. I get it now. And what does he get? He's getting the concept of, all right, the gridiron, the AI, I'm just not interested in it anymore. So I'm going to click that X, and I'm going to click this X, and I'm going to go and I'm going to join the club here, and I'm going to start focusing more of my attention on what's going on using the cutting edge, state of the art. And I'm on board. I'm a believer. This is a visualization that is needed. So I'm going to mix up my layout here a little bit and go to this. Basically, this is nothing more than a simple, and by the way, I'm working on a developer's version here, so there's some features here that you might not currently have, but essentially this is nothing more than just a top list of, and this is the beauty of it, the simplicity of it that Chris and Barry have discovered. Filters. It's nothing more than stocks that are up 2%. They've done at least, was it 20,000, 200,000 shares today? And that's it. All I want to do is sort those things that are up 2%, but what's in moving in real time, giving us a change from the open. So I'm just going to go, I'm going to start with like a 5-minute race. I'm going to let this run tomorrow throughout the day. And here's something that Dan really wanted to point out, and it doesn't really do it justice in after hours. Let me expand this race a little bit because this is a new feature. I'm just going to kind of demonstrate here. Doesn't really do it justice in after hours, but you know, to drill the point home, look at the action that's going on here after hours. There are things happening, all right? If I wanted to just drive that point home even more, a lot of people get so fixated on, well, what's Apple doing? Okay, well, what's Tesla doing? Those are my favorite stocks. I got to know what those things are doing. Okay, well, great, those are added. What you're going to find is when you see these things in the mix of where the action is, they're usually just kind of hanging out, not doing a whole lot. And so what is this doing? Not only is it tying up physical capital of your account, if you're just trying to always play these things because it's your comfort zone, it's the batting cage speed you like to play in or whatnot, you know, it's tying up emotional capital, it's tying up physical capital, it's tying up your time. And I get that. And so this is really, you know, the outside of the box concept of Dan, our CEO. And he likens it to a great story. Not all of you are aware, but you know, and Andy and I first started trading, level 2 was just coming out, and it was the greatest tool ever because we could use it as a tool. Today, it's more of just a spoofing window, but back then it was a real tool with no computers, with fractions and big levels and humans playing against humans, and it was different. And that was a quantum leap for the trader, the active trader especially. It allowed us to really have a killer tool. Well, that kind of fell by the wayside, but you know, Dan has been really pushing this, and the developers and us, and getting us to see the light that this kind of is level 2 2.0. It's the second coming of a new way to visualize what's happening in the market. You know, a lot has changed since level 2 was invented, but this is really the next generation. Again, we're just taking a top list of a static, not static, but it refreshes, but you know, a window of grids and spreadsheet type views, but you can't really see who's moving up the ladder, who's moving down the ladder. So you'll be seeing more of this for certain on my desktop. Again, some of the cool features is I can go back and quickly see, you know, who won these 5-minute periods, and oh, okay, well, who came in second, and who came in first. Well, let's try that again. I can see who won this race, who was the second place finisher here, who's this guy, who's this guy. So if you're getting caught on a phone call or an email and you want to go back and kind of see the last 15 minutes that you've missed, you're still getting these names, top of mind awareness, you know, that advertisers like to call it, marketing, top of mind awareness. Well, you're getting symbols just pounded into your head all day versus the ones, you know, that we like, the AI, but it's not as interesting as what we're kind of hooked onto here now. So you're probably going to see a lot more of these windows going forward in our webinars. So any questions on that? Again, I'm just using a simple, and I'll be happy to share this with you. I'm just going to share, I'm not going to share the race. I'm going to share the configuration of the top list, and then you can use the version that you have. So I'll take this list. This is what I'm turning into a very dynamic race. And I will share this for anybody who wants to turn on their own race tomorrow. Based on that list, you can configure the race however you like. I recommend change from the open because that gives a very clear picture as to what's opening up and holding gaps, especially, and not, you know, getting noisy at the open. So let me just type this in, race top list. It's going to be in the chat window, not the questions window for anybody that wants it. And there's just the simple cloud code that I'm using. And for anybody that doesn't know, you can just right click. You can launch a real-time stock race and have yourself your own configuration window right here, okay? Change from the open. Delta sort is what makes it do that nice little tidy long at the top, short at the bottom. Again, we can see Tesla and Apple not doing anything at the bottom because that's not where the action is. So another great, you know, innovation tool that's getting refined every day, coming from Trade Ideas to help you find the action and find the trade ideas. How have you been using the races, Andy? I know you've been using them for like your China lists and your other watch lists.
Yeah, I have one very similar to yours, except I'm looking for more big cap stocks. Since I'm a swing trader like you, I will play the little berry. You know, as a matter of fact, I did really well on TNXP the last couple of days. But for the most part, since I'm making the calls in our new I have a big cap very similar to yours. Change from open is what I'm using, and then also have a China watcher. I've been watching China stocks. China's been a little dull lately, but still, it's great points you're making, and excuse me, I really like these. I was one of the first ones to kind of come over to these races and warm up to them because I did see the value and a different way to look at data. And if you haven't, guys, if you haven't played around with this, I'm telling you, it can change your trading a lot.
I'll
You'll
probably
see
wind
things.
up.
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No.
No, I was going to say you'll see things that you cannot see in a regular top list.
Yeah, I'll probably wind up putting another race over here just to kind of have
Mhm.
two of them going at the same time. That's a big waste of space to use all that for one race. But that's kind of where I'm coming from, guys. You know, I'm always looking for ideas. I'm not a day trader, you know, primarily because I literally can't pay attention to some of these really fast movers that Barry and the others are on. I mean, before you know it, Barry's in, before you know it, he's out. And, you know, I'm just pulled in too many different directions during the day. I prefer swing trading, but at the same time, I'm not adverse to at least, you know, seeing something that I like and participating. I know Andy's been doing a lot more of that than I have. So, I mean, kind of watching him a little bit and, you know, maybe there's a little bit of FOMO going on there. Maybe we need to start doing a bit more of that. So anyway, all right, so what I wanted to do for the remainder of the session was, you know, we did this last time as well, price alerts, yeah, they're empty. I wanted to go, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm skipping the entire segment. We want to go to the price trade of the week. 2 weeks ago, these are both the same concepts. I got ahead of myself, okay? They both came off of the A table, which is a short squeeze setup, stocks that are doing okay, but have a pretty good significant short squeeze built into them. I think ASO should still be on there. There's no reason it shouldn't. 24%.
I see it.
You saw it?
Yep.
Okay.
Right there before it changes
There.
colors.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So ASO last week was derived from this scan. Let's take a look. One more candle, please. Perfect. That's what I saw 2 weeks ago, going into a week and a half ago, going into the weekend. A market that was still relatively weak with the S&P and the Qs, but this stock, you know, outdoor academy sports, and who'd have thought, right? But you know, maybe people are buying prep supplies and camping gear, who knows? But for whatever reason, the chart is telling a story here that relative to its moving averages, ASO Academy Sports was very strong. Not only that, it got repelled by the 200-day here and mostly there and 3 times there. Just like other things we've seen, it pulled back, gave a second attempt, and blam, blasted through and gave a convincing closing candle, not a wick, well, a wick to the downside, which is even better, a bottoming tail, blasting through and closing with conviction. So there was our trade of the week, and thank God it followed through. So it was a relative strength play. It was a short squeeze play, which is one of the reasons I think we did get some nice solid 5-day movement, because we had 24% short trying to get out. They saw the same thing that we saw getting in. That's the whole idea, you know, is to exploit their pain to become our opportunity. So ASO worked great. You know, hopefully you took some off the table as it got separated from its 10-day moving average, and then Walmart happened, right? Last night, if you weren't aware, Walmart decided to just give a little quarterly update and say, we still suck, our margins suck. Just so you know, SEC, don't come after us. We're just doing what we have to do to give you guys a heads up, which, you know, just took the rug out from under Target and a lot of other things that gapped down today, which brings us to Big Five, which was our trade of the week for this week. Same type of scenario setting up, convincing close above the declining 50 relative to what else was going on in the market. Same thing from the week prior, giant short float, okay. Relatively small float, a convincing technical close, a reason, and once again, outdoor sporting goods. What the hell's going on here? For some reason, that seemed to be kind of a little thing that tapped me on the shoulder and said, well, maybe we should try that again. So that was the week before, Steve. ASO. Big Five worked, and then until it didn't. Worked for the opening day yesterday, and then nobody can see the Walmart news. But the good news is that was a very convincing bottoming tail. This is why I often say, I know it's painful in the moment, but you have to try and let these candles close and see where they can work themselves out. This thing's back to right where it was, 12:45, 12:48, and 12:45 after hours. So that's no fun. Nobody ever likes that, but it's a great example of why I like to let the closing candle tell me the story. Now, if the closing candle had rolled over and just closed below, you know, the stop at the 20 and the 50, and closed on lows, that would be a very different story, but we didn't get that. We got a little bit of fight. I think there's a little bit of fight going on in a lot of things, including the indexes right now. Maybe the bad news is already built in, but Big Five, the trade of the week, took it on the chin overnight because of the Walmart news. Couldn't see that coming, but you know, I wouldn't blame you if you punched out of this trade, but technically it had a nice bounce today and it's good after hours. You know, let's see if we can build on that and see what happens. You got any thoughts on any of that, Andy? Just don't call him a scalper.
No. I saw yesterday when Walmart's news came out, I was fearing that would happen this morning. But hey, nice, like you said, nice fight back. Almost reclaimed the 10-period moving average, and after hours right now, it looks like it's above it, so not bad.
Yeah, got some fight, and it feels like a few things out there have a little bit of fight left in them. Anyway, okay, so that was the two trades of the week, and so in that vein, I got ahead of myself. I'd like to just maybe go through the A table again and see if we can find. Look at this, you know, Andy. Remember like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, and it's loaded up. Yeah.
Now it's loaded up again. Not only that, I've done a little something here. You know, normally I would have this in a bull market. I would have the stock composite rating like 75 or 80, but now I want to take the tide out and I want to see who's swimming naked, right? So we got the stock composite rating all the way down at 60. So we'll take pretty much anything with a stock composite rating score of 60 or better and see if we can find some really good shorts. And I know right off the bat, this one's kind of got my attention. You know, therapeutics, pharmaceutical, whatever, we're going to just ignore the fact that it's a therapeutic stock. But the point is, for whatever reason, 25 million shares and 45% of them at last count were still short. Timing would not have been good up here, but now since we're talking about it right here, look at how it has settled into these two little 200-day and the 10-day. So just for fun, so we don't miss out on something like this, I'm just going to look at the intraday here and say we would like to know about this if it breaks above that tomorrow as a possible short squeeze. Let's go through and see if there's any more. I like this one too. Again, look at now, guys. Remember, these are sorted by short float, so I'm most interested in the darker colors here. So the more we go down the list, the less likely there is for a short squeeze. But here, what we like is, again, reclaiming the 200-day moving average and doing so with consolidation. So we've got a real nice little pennant forming here in a stock that I would be nervous if I was short 31% of 58 million. Wouldn't want to be sitting in this thing for just one little bad PR, just something could happen. So I'm going to put an alert right about there, and a little bit of a head start. But again, possible short squeeze in VUZI. Continuing down here, declining 50, declining. I'm going to stay away from that one. It's just a bad downtrend. I'm not really seeing anything I love. Not really
Messy. No.
Messy. This one, on the other hand, is not bad at all. Again, it's a therapeutical, but it's holding its 20-day simple moving average. I would say the shorts would be a little nervous. If it got above that, it's worth watching. What are the numbers? 26% of 94 million. That could be a short squeeze. Oh my God, Siri. How many shares does Siri have in the float?
Not as much as it used to.
Oh, did they do
they used to have like 4 billion. Yeah, I'm not sure what they did. Yeah. They must
Does
have
anybody
reversed.
still listen to Sirius radio other than rental cars? I mean, look at that.
I know, man. It goes nowhere.
No. The answer is no. So based on that alone, we're just going to avoid that. And by the way, now as I'm just kind of heading through this, somebody has, you know, trading questions that they want to talk about. I'm going to spend a few more minutes looking through here, but you can type those in now if we wanted to get to something. All right, so this is a downtrend, Virgin Galactic, huh? It is trying to base. It is above a curling 50. I'll give this one a chance because it's got 26% short float, so maybe above that. But now we're starting to get down in here into the smaller stuff. Ooh, this is interesting. Edit, another biotech, but look at how it's kind of just holding that little trend there. I don't know. What do you think about that one? I'm going to pass. And there's our friend ASO. We've already played with him. Oh, this is interesting. That's an interesting reversal candle. I'm going to finish on this one. Any other scans you want to look at you think that might be valuable, Andy? Like the pullbacks, you think there's anything valuable on the pullbacks to the 20s? And let's take a look.
I mean, I'd have time to look at them.
Ooh, that was interesting.
What's that? Let me.
Oh, God, there's just way too many ideas on here. What was the one that, was it DQ, right? Did DQ hold that 50?
Yeah, DQ was the call from yesterday in the eye. I still like the way that looks.
Yeah, let's go ahead and mark that one up. That's the one I was thinking of.
And today lithium was called, and I'm still, still liking the way that held up. Actually finished up on the day. So
What do you think? Above today's high, or what would you do with that?
let me see where you're at. I was looking at my screen. On lithium, no, I'd put it right around that range. Come on down to.
Okay, let me just put it in there. That's the high break, but what would you do? You'd say buy it on a pullback?
You know what? I would pull it all the way down to that midday high. Because if he gets above that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it on here. Midday high on here.
Yeah. Because if it gets above that, more than likely, it's a good chance it's going to take out.
There you go. Okay. Well, it's actually behind that. It's above that after hours right now. It looks like. It might trigger. I don't know.
Yeah, I think because Tesla's getting a little pop for some reason, and.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Got some stuff to share. I see some questions coming in. Yes, don't ever say Barry is a scalper. I would never say that. You're not listening, but he probably is listening. Somebody's requesting the A table. Let's start with that. I will definitely give you this. This is a short squeeze fountain, if there ever was one. I call it the A table because usually I've got a high score in there, but now I'm just putting low score stocks in there as well. I want to see everything that's got a high short float. So there's the cloud code for that, for whoever was asking for that in the chat. And then I promised I would share my price alerts as well. So we'll grab those. I don't know why the company name is in there. I never liked that. That's better. Okay, so lithium from above. Yeah, I guess that was from above. We'll go ahead and share these 7 price alerts. Again, these were the candidates that Andy and I kind of felt were good candidates for short squeeze. So I'll call price alerts, short squeeze, and there's the cloud link for that. All right. Okay, so saw some questions. Could you share the A table? We got that for you there, DS. And a good question from Animesh. Could you please demonstrate how to set up one of the races? Of course. So let's say tomorrow, I'm going to start from scratch here. This is the A table. There's nothing associated with that. Again, you have to start with one of the windows here that has a T in the middle, in the left. That stands for top list window. We've had this for many years, and this race feature is an improvement on these windows only. It will not work on the A windows. So tomorrow, I'm going to use this in real time. I'm going to take my sector list here. There's about 20 or so sectors. And maybe 30 seconds before the bell, I'm just going to come in. I'm going to launch real-time stock race. And I'm going to want to see all the sectors in there. So I'll put 20 ETFs in there. And I'll run a 5-minute race right at the open. And here is the key, okay? This is very important. Now you have to have this column change from the open. See how I want to focus on change from the open in the drop-down menu. There it is. The only way you're going to get that in the drop-down menu is to already have it incorporated into your columns of your top list window, okay? So you've got to have a column. This is what references the race, references those filters right there. So now I will change from the open and I will sell delta. Delta sort is like you're seeing down here. The highest and best and strongest will always be on top and the weakest will always be on the bottom. I will have it auto rerun. Replace cars means if something new comes into that 20, then the old one will get kicked out, which by the way, I have 10. I'm going to make that 20. On a mesh, and right when the bell rings, I'm going to go ahead and just, run this race, change from the open. And I'm going to observe as a swing trader in the first 4 to 3 minutes, what sectors have opened strong and held, or maybe opened weak but are running strong. So I don't care about change from the close. I only care about change from the open. It's not going to do anything right now because they're not doing anything after hours. But tomorrow, when the bell rings, this start the day and see what sector I might want to focus on from a top-down approach when the day starts tomorrow. So hopefully that made sense. We've got more tutorials on that tomorrow. I mean, to send, if you want to send an email, we can send you links on more tutorials, but that's really, that's the gist of it. Some people are sorting on based on relative volume. They want to see relative volume spurts. So rather than do change from the open, we could have those, no, I'm not going to call them cars anymore because they're actual companies. We've got the, believe it or not, somebody actually spent the time to copy all of these company logos. So we're just going to call them stocks. Yeah, it's a great new focus. All right, let's see. You're welcome. That's what I was going to say. Hopefully that helped you understand, Anish. Any other questions on trading in general or platform related? Because other than that, we're going to move on to just stocks.
Did you share?
Look at what?
Did you share your A table? Somebody asked for that.
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
The A table,
Wasn't sure.
that was for DS. That's going to be up there in the chat window.
Not ready.
Yeah, there it is. A table. I'm just confirming that. But trading question, market related question. A lot of people have their favorite stock. If you want us to look at that, we'll do that. But that was really the purpose today, was to just kind of show you that myself and Andy, we're always trying to not get dogmatic. We're trying to evolve. And one of the things of evolving was I'm just going to take the AI off my screen now, and I'm going to use that valuable real estate for some races to start seeing and getting more familiar with this new exciting way to view data. Whether you're a new trader or an old grizzled trader, I've seen it. Everybody's embracing it, just not as fast as as everybody, in their own time, I guess I should say. Hello, Dave. All right, so Costco on Dave. Oh man, Costco after last night. How bad did it get hurt? Let's see. Gave up its 200-day. Intraday, it really held that 510 level, it looks like. But first order of business is, to just get that retail stench and out of this chart and get it back above the 200-day SMA. You're long now, about even with the stop of the rising 20. So yeah, you know what? 500 and the rising 20. That's probably that's an acceptable level of risk. Dave is doing a good job. He's managing his risk. He's saying, this is how much I'm willing to give it. Not only that, it's not a dollar amount to Dave. He's seeing a reason that makes sense, where if it can't hold that round number of 5 and it can't hold that 20 SMA at the close, then I have to assume my thesis is wrong and I have to get out. That's where a lot of new traders fail. They don't manage their risk. They get married to a concept, a model, an idea, and then before you know it, you spend all day long looking for PR and waiting for good news to come out. You're not learning how to trade. Dan, the CEO, again, has been just trying to remind us and pound home how important it is for new traders to practice on the simulator first. You're just not going to go out and play a skins game with a bunch of good golfers without practicing on the range for a few months. It just makes perfect sense. So we're trying to provide the tools with the racing to point you in the right direction. The sim trader, which I have up somewhere here for practicing, and us, as a resource, like we're asking right now. Any trading questions? All right, so it looks like we're kind of caught up on questions. If somebody doesn't have any other stocks they want to look at, speak now or forever hold your peace. We do have a test drive coming up, so if you're not a user and when you're seeing all these things, just you can use this for 2 weeks coming up in mid-August, or you can use the promo code that Scott's going to talk about in a minute, and you can get a head start and use it for a month with the promo code. But yeah, it doesn't look like we have any more questions, so I'll go ahead and bring Scott back in and we'll talk us out. I might have been too early for Scott. He probably wasn't even ready. Scott, you're on mute. All right, well, I can go ahead and walk us out. Go back into the slideshow presentation here. We hook up to 2 different brokerages, Interactive Brokers and also eTrade.
Yeah,
the nice one
I was
about
having
eTrade.
some connectivity problems. Thank you, Steve.
There you go. All right.
Yeah, we connect with a couple of brokers directly through Brokerage Plus, letting you manage your positions, your portfolio directly from within Trade Ideas. One of them is ETRADE, and you can trade with them with 0 commission. So learn more about Trade Ideas and ETRADE at trade-ideas.com/eTrade. It is a great $0 commission experience. Another broker we do that with is Interactive Brokerage. We can't connect with them for a $0 commission structure with our connection with Interactive Brokerage, but they are one of the best and highly rated brokers for online trading. Learn about connecting to Interactive Brokerage at trade-ideas.com/IBKR. And as mentioned at the top of the broadcast, we have a test drive coming up on the 15th, just a couple of weeks away. We'll be reminding you about this periodically. It's a great way to sample premium Trade Ideas features without committing to a premium subscription. You can sign up as a standard subscriber or sign up as a non-subscriber at trade-ideas.com/test drive. It's $11 for 2 weeks, and you get special attention, has some special training that goes on during those 2 weeks. And of course, you get to download the newest version of Trade Ideas and access all the premium features for 2 full weeks. It's a fantastic way to try us out before committing to a full subscription. However, if you do want to do an upgrade or start a subscription today, just use the code FASTDATA, saves 15% off your first installment of an upgrade or a new subscription. So do check that out. And if you have any questions, just shoot an email to info@trade-ideas.com. That goes directly to our help desk software, so it doesn't get lost. It gets routed to the most appropriate team member to answer your question as quickly as they can. You can also find Steve on Twitter at TISteveG. We've also got him on TikTok. He's Today Trader there. Find us on Facebook, Trade Ideas Pro, and of course, for Trade Ideas on YouTube. And as mentioned, just shoot us an email at info@trade-ideas for any help that you need. The recording of the session will be up later on tonight or tomorrow, and you'll get an email reminder tomorrow with a link to the playlist where it's located. And that'll do us for Tuesday. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Andy. Have a nice one.
See you next time.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see you on Thursday.